Arguably, the biggest factor that leads to impaired performance during physical activity is not being properly hydrated. And it's not as simple as just drinking loads of water. So let me show you the latest evidence when it comes to optimal hydration for athletes. Hello everyone, welcome back to Inc. Nutrition, where we are all about mind, body, and food. My name is Jack. I am a sports dietitian, and I'm here to help translate the science of nutrition to help you improve your health, improve your performance. And so today, we are in part 4 of our sports nutrition series. We've gone over macronutrients, pre-exercise, post-exercise recovery nutrition, and now hydration, a very critical component. So grab your water bottle and let's dive in. First, we're gonna just talk about the importance of hydration, all right? So maintaining an optimal hydration status, especially as an athlete, will help regulate body temperature, help cools your body in heat and humid environments, improves your ability to recover, minimizes muscle cramps, enhances cognitive performance, and it can even support immune function. So what does dehydration look like? How is it defined? Really, if you experience a 2% total weight loss from sweat during exercise, that would be considered significant dehydration to the point where it could really impair your health and performance. It could lead to lack of concentration, dizziness, early fatigue, high perceived exertion, right? So you feel much more tired than you actually are. Trouble tolerating heat, delayed recovery, muscle cramps, headaches, nausea, vomiting, abnormal heart rate. There's a whole lot. So 2% weight loss. What does that look like? Well, if you're 180 pounds as an athlete, that would be about 3 to 4 pounds of weight loss during your session. So I don't always like to recommend weighing yourself, especially as an athlete, but if you are curious to know how much weight you're losing in the form of sweat during your session, I think it can be a pretty valuable tool. So consider it, just to give you kind of a baseline idea. So what are some general indications of dehydration? Well, you are likely dehydrated if you have 2 or more of the following markers: darker urine in the morning, lower waking body weight, or greater thirst than usual. And keep in mind, it can take up to 24 hours to recover from a state of dehydration. So don't try to just fully rehydrate a couple hours before, a big game or a training session. It just won't work like that. That's why it's very important to continue to drink fluids throughout the entire day. All right, but going back to the indications, right? Indicators of dehydration. When we talk about the urine color, that's really a very simple but effective way to determine how hydrated you really are. So check out this scale. So if you're in that 1 to 3 section, that's a pale yellow. All right, this indicates that you are well hydrated. So just keep drinking at that same rate. If you are in that middle section, 4 to 6, that's mild dehydration, right? You're starting to get a darker color. So definitely have some fluid, okay? And then if you are in that 7 to 8 range, you're definitely dehydrated, and this could for sure impair your performance and be pretty dangerous, actually, if you're going into an endurance event, especially when your urine is that color beforehand. So of course, the big question, how much fluid do you need to kind of achieve this optimal state of hydration? Of course, as always, the answer is it depends. There's a lot of factors, right, that go into hydration, and it's all very individual. 2 big things that come to mind are, 1, environment, okay? So if it's a humid environment, if it's high altitude, right, those are gonna increase your needs. Also, your sweat rate, which is very individualized. Everybody has a different sweat rate, which we will get into in a minute, but that will largely determine how much water you need. Having said that, here are some kind of general tips, okay, that will pretty much work for most people, most athletes. So before training, 2 to 3 hours before your exercise, when you're having that pre-exercise meal, aim for 16 to 20 ounces of water. And then 15 minutes beforehand, 8 ounces, right, about a cup of fluid can be perfect. You should be able to tolerate that just fine. And then during training, you want to have enough to limit dehydration that's greater than 2% of total body weight loss. So I know that's a bit arbitrary, but that's the ultimate goal. And it's not really realistic to rehydrate with 100% of total losses, and your stomach actually can't really take that. But I'd recommend anywhere from 16 to 32 ounces of fluid per hour per exercise. And that, again, it's gonna depend on the conditions, depend on the type of exercise. If it's high intensity endurance activity, then you're gonna wanna lean towards that higher end. But it's important to distribute that as evenly as possible. So I know you can't always, control that, like let's say halftime in soccer, right? That's the perfect time to rehydrate, but you can't always, hydrate during the match. So some situations will be very different, but if you can control it, every 15 minutes or so, you wanna have a few sips. So then going into the time period after exercise, you wanna replace 1.5 times total weight loss that was experienced during your exercise. So let's say you weigh yourself and you lost 1 pound during your run, okay? 1.5 times 1 pound, or 16 ounces, gives you 24 ounces. So that is roughly how much fluid you should have to kind of fully replace all of the sweat that you lost. So should you have just plain water? Should you have sports drinks? Let's talk about that. All right, so some key points to consider is, for activity generally less than 1 hour, hydrating with plain water is gonna be just fine. For activity lasting longer than an hour, you should fuel with additional carbohydrates and electrolytes, AKA sports drink. And like I said, 16 to 32 ounces per hour is kind of a sweet spot. If you are in that long activity, let's say it's a soccer game, let's say it's a marathon or so forth, and you're exercising for an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, or even more, you want to aim for 30 to 60 grams per hour of carbohydrates to kind of replace that glycogen that's being lost and just maintain performance. So most sports drinks are gonna have, 20 to 30 grams per serving. So that's kind of a pretty good time to have it, all right? Sodium, potassium, those are gonna be your main electrolytes that you wanna focus on in those, extended sessions. Most sports drinks, again, are gonna have a pretty good amount of that. There are some that I like better than others, but, let me know if you wanna know some specific recommendations there. Drop it in the comments. And please remember to sip, don't chug your drinks, your fluids, your sports drinks when you are in the middle of your activity. If you have too much at once, your stomach can't empty that fluid that quickly, and you'll get an upset stomach and your performance will be impaired. So sip, don't chug. So how much fluid should you have just daily to maintain a good hydration status? It's recommended to have half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, aim for at least 75 ounces of water per day. Now, if you are training a lot, especially in hot, humid conditions, those needs are definitely going to increase, but that's kind of a bare minimum recommendation. Simple ways to improve hydration, okay? Carry a water bottle everywhere you go. Get in this habit. Aim to have at least 2 cups of water with all meals. Begin lunch or dinner with a veggie soup, something to consider. Drink a glass of water first thing when you wake up in the morning. Steep a cup of herbal tea in the evening. Have some fruits and vegetables that have a high water content on a regular basis, like oranges, berries, melons, pineapple, eggplant, zucchini, carrots, cucumbers, tomatoes. And also keep in mind that you need more fluid during heat, humidity, hard trainings, travel, altitude, and if you're experiencing some illness. Now, this is just a sample hydration schedule. This is gonna, of course, vary person to person, but to give you an idea, this is what your day could look like, okay? 7 a.m., you have your breakfast, drink 1 to 2 cups of water or juice. 9 a.m., you have your exercise session that you have 16 to 24 ounces of fluid during that session. 10:30 in the morning after your exercise, you replace 1.5 times your weight loss. So maybe it's gonna be anywhere 16 to 32 ounces again. Midday, you wanna sip regularly on water, diluted juice, milk and tea are fine options. Mid-afternoon, another 1 to 2 cups of water, maybe a sports drink if you have another workout. 7 p.m. evening meal, drink a couple cups of water with your meal, and then 1 final cup of water before bed, okay? That will pretty much ensure that you are adequately hydrated. So I got 2 challenges for you all this week. Challenge number 1, each morning you wake up, drink 1 full glass, like 16 ounces of water as soon as you wake up. Again, you don't have to chug that right away, but maybe within like the first half hour of waking, that's when you can have it. Challenge number 2 is to calculate your personal sweat rate. This is very helpful and valuable if you want to, take your performance to the next level. If you are a very serious athlete and you want to really determine exactly how much fluid you need during your sessions. So first, go pee and then record your weight without clothes. Fill a water bottle that you plan to drink from during the exercise and record how many ounces that you fill that bottle with. Perform a 30-minute or a 1-hour workout, okay? One hour is probably gonna be a bit more accurate at high intensity or at the intensity that you expect that you're gonna work out at most of the time. And record exactly how much you drink during that session. This is easy if you drink from a bottle that has measurements, of course. After the exercise, you're gonna towel dry and then record your weight again without clothes. The reason you do it without clothes is because sweat, right, weighs the clothes down. Calculate weight loss, so you're gonna subtract post-exercise from pre-exercise weight, determine the volume of fluid consumed, if any, during that exercise, and then calculate your sweat rate by adding the weight lost plus the fluid consumed divided by the total duration of exercise, and that'll give you your sweat rate in ounces per hour. Awesome, those are my 2 challenges for you. Thank you very much for watching. This was part 4 of our sports nutrition series. Next week, we'll get into part 5, which will go over supplements, a very hot topic in the world of sports and sports nutrition. So again, my name is Jack, sports dietitian. We are Inc. Nutrition. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Peace.